is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. The Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Good morning, welcome to Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It is Thursday, the 5th day in the month of June 2025, and we are about to start ushering our Muslim brothers and sisters into the holidays, the Eid holidays. I'm excited because, lucky for me, I happen to be in a community where religion has never been a divider between us. We're always happy, even as Christians. We're always excited when our Muslim brothers and sisters have celebrations, and our Muslim brothers and sisters are always very excited when we the Christians have holidays, because as I said, I am very fortunate to be in a work environment where religion has never been a divider between us. We've always been together, we're always catering to each other, and we always try to make sure the other person is okay. So you would understand why I'm this excited about the holidays that starts tomorrow. Even if I don't enjoy the privilege of staying home, at least I get to be with people that care about me. So good morning to you. I hope that's your experience throughout the course of your life as well. This is Mainland 98.3 FM. We're known as the sound of Lagos, and this is Trends in the Papers. Now, every Monday through to Friday from 7:40 a.m. all the way to 8:30, it's about 50 minutes thereabout, we spend time looking through the pages of our newspapers. It's just so that you get first-hand information regarding all the things that have happened, and also the follow-ups to a lot of these stories, the developing stories. You're not lost in the midst of the plethora of stories that come throughout the course of the day. So every morning we look at the papers. What is the latest headline? What has happened over the night whilst you were sleeping? We put these things together, we summarize it, we provide you with analysis, and then you can go on about it. Matter of fact, he would be joining me any minute from now. If this is your first time joining us, you're welcome to the Mainland FM family. We do have news, we have news analysis, we have political programs, we have entertainment programs, we have programs that's all about movie reviews if you're somebody who likes movies. We have programs that cater to family needs. We have programs where we do a recap of all the stories that have happened throughout the course of the week. We also have an entertainment segment for that as well, and a thriving social media community, one that I would ask you to be a part of, because we also provide you with information as they drop on social media. Sometimes these things happen and we're not doing a program that would allow us to immediately give you that information. What we do is we take it to social media and ask you to go and look at it. We also have amazing interviews, leaders of thought, and even people within the entertainment, the political and socio-economic scene. So whatever it is you're looking for from radio, whether it be music, entertainment, discourse, amongst other things, we do have provisions for any and everyone. But for now, let's focus on news analysis. Trends in the Papers has begun. We'll be looking at the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and if time permits us to do so, we will look at the Vanguard newspaper, although most of the stories are the same, because again, somebody decided to buy out the front pages of our papers. But it's okay, there are many stories reported in between the pages, and we are going to dig out these stories for you. Please, I need you to have the numbers so that when we eventually open the phone lines for Mainland Focus, you can start calling. So hold on to the number 0913 6000 410. Again, 0913-6000-410. That's the phone line. So hold on to it. When we eventually open the phone lines, that's how you would connect with us here on radio. Fouad Said, a pleasant, wonderful, beautiful, scrumptious, amazing morning to you, my dear brother, FᴜＧᴅ.
This kind of great. This kind of...
Fouad, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you fine? Did you sleep well? Are you okay?
I'm very good, very good, very fine.
Have you ironed your clothes? Is there traffic?
Clothes. What's happening?
Is there traffic? Is there anything?
There's no traffic. Everywhere is clean.
Everywhere. Are you sure? Are you okay? Perhaps before you get to the office, you want us to do something for you?
No. All is well. No problem. We are fine.
Fine. I'm very easy to fumble this morning. Don't fall our eyes. I'm easy to fumble. So don't
we'll be fine. Don't worry. No matter what, we'll be fine. I've seen the story. All the lamentations.
Oh my God, it's been terrible. It's been terrible. But me, I trust you now. This is they call Fᴜဃᴜ just for nothing. Do you know why they call him Fᴜဃᴜ? Should I tell them why they call you Fᴜဃᴜ?
Don't worry. Don't leave that part of the conversation.
Good morning, Fuad. Welcome to the program. Let's look at the papers.
Thank you for having me.
We have Punch, Vanguard, and as I said, the Guardian newspaper. Let's start with the Punch. And unfortunately, I don't really have great stories, especially regarding the holidays. I believe it's Friday through to Monday, so it's going to be a very long weekend. Sadly, we don't get to partake in it, right? But at least we get to spend time with our friends and we get to enjoy all the blessings that come with the holiday. But traders are not telling the same stories. Punch tells us traders lament low patronage as RAM prices soar by 55.5%. And the story tells us that as Nigerians gear up for the Tဃᴇ celebrations, RAM traders in the Ibafokara and Agege market of Ogun and Lagos State on Wednesday lamented low patronage, blaming it on the rising cost and economic downturn. The traders who spoke separately with correspondents said there was a decline in patronage compared to what was applicable last year because of the hike in the price of rams in the market. Now, let me quote one of the sellers or the traders who says that the rams we sold for 150,000 to 180,000 naira last year now sells for 250,000 naira to 280,000 naira, which translates to a 55.5% increase. We cannot buy it cheap at Arewa and sell it at a higher price. We're pricing based on what we were able to buy, and it is costlier compared to the previous year. And let me just put the stories together since they are similar. Even in Mokwa, there's been a lot of complaints as well. The Mokwa bridge collapsed, and so a lot of traders who are bringing in perishables like tomatoes, pepper, onion, they are stuck on that bridge. In fact, one of the business owners have said that the goods stuck on that bridge that are unable to transport the goods to the southwest, for example, over 250 million naira worth of good has been trapped because of the bridge collapse. And this transportation was happening also mostly to supply for the Eid celebration. So it's been a combination of terrible events for business owners as we approach the Muslim holidays. Fuad.
Well, again, it's just what it is. We've been getting these reports like in the last 1 or 2 weeks. People have been going to different markets to see how they can, shop for ram, cows, and the stories have not been too good. The prices have gone up. According to the Punch newspaper, from their market survey, it's gone up by over 50%. Again, I think some of the prices, the ram that was sold for 150,000 last year now sells for around 250,000 naira and upwards. So, but again, one thing about Islam is that there's no compulsion really in things like this. If you don't have the money, nobody expects you to go take a loan or put yourself in trouble because you want to kill ram or you want to kill cow. I'm sure there are some persons in your neighborhood who would be, buoyant enough to do that. And God, if you understand what I'm saying, because again, we know how tough things are this time. It's not just the money to even buy the ram or the cow.
To cook
must
it.
also factor in what it will take to cook it. And now that we're even getting reports that as a result of the flooding in Mokwa, Niger, the bridge has collapsed, a lot of the trucks are stuck there. They can't bring in onions, tomatoes, pepper, and all of those things that used to come from the north. So at this festive season, the reports that look, pepper prices of tomato and other ingredients have gone up. I never knew that there was an association of onion planters, the onion sellers or something.
I mean, I've always known farmers, they always have associations.
No, but this one is association of onion sellers, onion planters, onion farmers or something. So I thought that it would have been like maybe people would sell things that are related somewhat. But it is saying that, look, difficult for a lot of their trucks to get to the southwest or the southern part of the country because of that situation. So I think it's just important that people just take it easy. Don't overburden yourself. Don't go out of your way borrowing or doing anything untoward just because you want to impress anybody. The religion has not made this compulsory for anyone that does not have the means to do it. So, but we will definitely celebrate. I'm sure people will still find a way. Nigerians are happy people, no matter how tough things are.
Right.
We always find our ways, to just make ourselves happy. Even if it is fish, just cook good meal, have good time with your family members. And like I said, if there are neighbors who are buoyant enough to kill ram or cow, just go out there and celebrate with them.
Right.
And have a happy Salah celebration.
Like I intend to do. So, what? Yes, that's actually my plan. You know how liberal me I am now. I don't really. So anybody that is offering a kind hand, I'm going to accept it.
It's always I don't think there's ever been a problem on that in that regard.
Yes.
It's always been yearly. So
yes.
This year too will not fail.
Yes, now, before I don't toot your own horns, don't worry. We are here. We're going to toot the horns for you. Don't worry. We know that you cannot fail us. You cannot disappoint us. But
don't worry. Just calm down.
I do understand. I believe that people should have a spirit of community. These are very tough times, yes, and just spend time with people that matter to you. That's what the holiday is all about, really. It's about the spirit of camaraderie, people being together and supporting each other. So just if you don't have, it doesn't mean that your family is less. And I'm sure that there are many families. I remember growing up in my street, there's one particular imam who would ask his daughter with a basket to go and deliver food to everybody in the compound, everybody on the street.
Community.
We know, so nobody even cooks during the Muslim. Nobody cooks because they will bring. I remember those plates. Those white plates that have flower prints on it and a cover. I remember that's the plate she uses. Right, she brings the rice, she brings the ram and meat, and everybody knows that it is coming. Christian, Muslim, he doesn't really care. He feeds everybody on that day. So if you're lucky and you find yourself in a congregation like that one, I hope that you're at least able to have time, whether or not you can afford to kill your own ram. Let's talk about other issues.
I'm sorry, this is not the time for those that will be killing ram and cow. To also kill it and stock everything in the free. This is the period to give to people.
Give it to. There's not even light safe. I'm sorry for you.
God don't catch people like that. There's no light to stock. Just kill, give to people, really, because there's hunger in the land. Let's not deceive ourselves. So this is a period to also help to feed the people. Give as much as you can. Since you have the means to kill a ram or cow, this is the time to also ensure that people are fed. Feed the people.
All right, moving on, still on the front page of the Punch, we have VIP's lobby presidency as federal government grounds 60 jets. Now, to recover import duties from some private jet owners in the country, the federal government, through the Nigeria Customs Service, has grounded about 60 private jets across major airports in Nigeria, the Punch reports. It also gathered that private jet hangars in Lagos and Abuja airports were reportedly sealed up. However, owners of the aircraft, including bank chiefs and multinational oil companies, among other individuals, have begun to lobby the presidency to secure the release of their jet. Custom had asked private jet owners to proceed on a verification exercise with the government, and the exercise was to determine defaulters in the payment of import duty. So for this is something that should have happened since last year. In October last year, the federal government, through the NCS, of course, they had planned to ground a lot of these private jets because they were owing import duties, but they gave them an extension to November of 2024, and since then they've not been able to implement it. Although when asked about why, when the NCS was questioned about why they did not implemented last year in November, the report was a lot of these jet owners had approached the court. They had taken it to court. Rather than pay the dues, they decided to take the matter to court. And so they could not really do anything until the processes were sorted out. But as it stands right now, they've been able to sort out all the litigations that have been dropped on their table. And at least 60 private jet owners has been grounded. Although some of them are now lobbying, they want to pay, they're asking to pay in installments, they're trying to come into some sort of agreement. It just always beats me. Why is it that the wealthy, and I don't want to stereotype, but people who actually have money are not very keen on paying duties or paying fees or paying taxes? They always why?
You know the person that brings in a private jet and refuses to pay import duty, it's not different from the man the other man that goes to Cotonou to bring in a car.
Right.
And just and do the firewall and bring it into the country without paying duty. You know, they are not different.
More or less modernized smuggling, really.
It is smuggling. There's nothing more that about it. Smuggling is smuggling.
No, because it's private jets. So it's smuggling.
It's just smuggling. It's the same firewall because it's the same thing. You go to Cotonou, bring in a car without paying duty, maybe pass inside the bush.
Right.
And bring it into. And the customs should always seize it whenever they arrest the owner of such a vehicle, arrest that vehicle. The job of the customs is to seize it immediately. So all these ones that they are even going to court, the customs guys should have seized it dead a long time ago. I remember it was last year that this announcement came out that look, about 60 private jet owners have been found out to have paid import duty for their private jet. And from the reports, your guess is as good as mine. See, of people who will be owning these things. You know, they say bank executives. I'm sure some of our religious leaders also own some of these private jets.
Even oil companies as well.
A number of business executives. I don't know whether some of our musicians too own some of these things, but I know that bank executives and our religious leaders will be on this list. And that's why they are now lobbying the presidency. They'll be begging. And some politicians too are there. You know, a lot of our politicians fly on private jets. If you see them moving around the country, going for events and all that, they fly in private jets.
I mean, they will do everything but pay the money. Just pay.
If you look at what they are supposed to pay as against how much they used to buy the jets, you understand that these are guys who just don't want to pay this. It's not that they don't have the money. It's just a culture. That culture of impunity. Why must I pay?
All right.
But the ordinary man that goes to the Republic to bring in a vehicle is compelled to pay. Anyhow, he must pay. But they will not pay. They get tax waivers, they get import duty waivers, they get all manner of waivers. And these are guys who also feed fat, on the resources of the country. One way or the other, their hand is in the resources of the country. You understand what I'm saying? They are overfed, overpampered, and yet what is due to the country, they will still not give to the country.
Who wants to buy?
Not buy now. They put the money into something else. Only that we're not even sure that if the jets are sold, the money will still. You know the problem is you don't even know where to start on matters like this. It's just, but it's unfortunate that we have our VIPs, so-called VIPs, who will just not do the right thing.
Right. Okay, well, I mean, it's the same thing we're seeing even with the land, or what's it called now? What's that money they're supposed to...
Ground rent.
Ground rent.
That's why we are not be there.
Exactly, ground rent for 28 years. And I think maybe the payment is usually the fact that it has accumulated. I think that's what is the problem now. Because imagine not paying ground rent for 28 years. I think this ground rent, they're usually cheap. I don't know, maybe for example, houses here, maybe 5,000, 10,000. But when you owe for 30 years, you can imagine how much that's going to...
How do you even explain that the PDP is not paying ground rent? The PDP has a party.
For 28 years.
And they are selling forms. God knows how much they sell their forms for different elective positions. They make a lot of money. They have a lot of governors, they have senators, House of Reps members who also pay party dues and all manner of payments. And here they can't pay ground rent. As much as we want to criticize the BK for doing some of these things, again, it just goes to show that, you know, our so-called VIPs leaders are not ready to lead by example on anything.
This is still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I am Sage Babalola talking here with Fouad, who's playing the role of analyst this morning as we look through our dailies. We're currently still analyzing the Punch newspaper. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so please join the live stream. It's Open Mic Thursday, so you can actually start dropping your comments on whatever topic that you would like on our streaming platform, Facebook, YouTube. From any part of the world, you can be a part of the program. We're going back to the papers now. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on within the Senate. Natasha disowns viral tape blackmailing President Tinubu. Now, the suspended senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, on Wednesday denied any connection with a viral audio and video purportedly featuring her in a conversation with a journalist, where she claimed that Senate President Godswill Akpabio blackmailed President Tinubu to have her imprisoned. In a statement personally signed and released in Abuja, Akpoti-Uduaghan categorically dissociated herself from the contents of the recording, urging the public to disregard them entirely. Let me read what her statement says in part. I categorically and unequivocally dissociate myself from this video and audio recording. At no time did I grant such an interview or hold any such conversation with a journalist or anyone else. The voice in the recording is not mine. It has been cloned and manipulated with clear malicious intent. This is a calculated attempt to mislead the public, to damage my reputation, and to stir division within the leadership of the National Assembly and the federal government. It is not only mischievous and criminal, but also a dangerous abuse of technology to spread falsehood. Now, I've not been privileged to see that particular video. I searched through the entire internet as much as I can. I've not been able to find it, so I don't know why. If it's this viral, I don't know why it's not readily available for us to see, so we can know what we're talking about. But according to the report, there's been a viral interview featuring Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and a journalist. Now, in that interview, she had claimed, or I'm telling you the content of the video now. I'm not telling you that she actually did it. In that video, it according to the report, shows her saying that Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president, had blackmailed the president to having her imprisoned. Blackmailed on what grounds, we really don't know. And so she has come out with her team to state clearly that she was not the one in the video. She did not grant such an interview. She said nothing of the sort. This is an abuse of technology. It has been cloned, especially at a time where AI has become a tool that the whole world has to embrace. We've seen deep fakes or videos that have been spreading. Even conversations around Traoré of Burkina Faso. There have been conversations around most of the interviews we see online are not really him. They're deep fakes, amongst other things. She says that it is not her. Her voice have been cloned. She did not grant that particular interview. Fuad, Natasha is in a very sensitive position, mind you. She just alleged that, so to be caught in the middle of a viral video like this, alleging that the president might have been involved and the Senate president might have blackmailed the president to have her imprisoned. What consequences do narratives like this one push, and does it affect her case in any way?
Well, to start with, I think in a matter like this, you would expect that there's going to be a lot of disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. Because again, you know the way we play our politics, it's all around debt. And there's a lot of political undertone to what is going on, whether we like it or not. A lot of unseen hands are also probably involved in this case of Natasha and the Senate president. Again, by extension, the former governor of Kogi, Yahya Bello. So I like the fact that she has stopped talking.
Yeah.
It now appears that it's our lawyers and our handlers, our media aides that are doing the talking. You know, these are guys. For example, the lawyers will be talking on our behalf because they understand the legal implications of what they will be saying.
Right.
Our media handlers or our spokespersons will be talking on our behalf because they understand our perception with some of the statements they'll be giving out. I would expect that our lawyers are professional enough to understand the legal implications of what they are saying on this matter. And I also expect that whoever is handling our entire media structure would also understand that, look, at this time she has to be careful. Public perception is also key in what they'll be saying at this time. But at the end of the day, I think the best thing that we need to do now, since this matter is in court, is to just wait for how it all pans out. She was not because she was said that she would have been arraigned. Our lawyers have said that, look, they don't even know how the federal government intends to handle this matter. Because again, there's something a bit confusing about this Natasha matter. Since the federal government has decided to make it a criminal matter, one would think that by now she should be under arrest. She should have been arrested. Because if you're going to arraign somebody in court for a criminal matter, it means that she should be in your custody at the point of arraignment, and then you cannot begin to argue for bail. So that's why our lawyers are saying that they are not even sure of anything yet, because but that they would honor the court summons, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's a bit technical for now. There are a lot of legal implications on this matter that we cannot talk about so that we don't go sub judice. But I think we just have to wait for how it all ends eventually in the court.
Right. Well,
might be a case that will be settled out of court or be settled in court. So I think we just have to.
Right, but we would like to once again reiterate that Natasha Akpotio-Duaha has categorically stated that that video was cloned. She was not the one in that audio. She'd never made such a statement. And I'm reiterating this because, you know, most times people just run with the headline. They don't really wait to see the feedback of the individuals that have been alleged to do something. So this is feedback from that viral video that for some reason I've not been able to find.
I know this is the period of AI. A lot can be done. Anything can be done now.
Yes.
AI, you know, can do magic. Things like
they used to say pictures don't lie before, but pictures are telling $1,000 billion lies now.
Look at Traore, for example, the Burkina Faso guy. That has tons of videos that are deep, fake AI or generated AI. You know, and people have taken it to us. People think that most of the videos are real.
He has a British accent in those videos.
This guy will not speak English.
Like I mean, even if he did speak English, is weird that he has that much of a British accent. I don't even think King Charles had that much of a British accent.
And there are people who believe a lot of these videos. See, I have to tell you the power of disinformation and misinformation, the framing of stories around the guy as a modern day messiah of African leadership. I don't know why, if he's the one that has engaged them or not, nobody knows. But there's something strange about the fact that there are millions of videos presenting these guys what Africa needs at this time. You know, it's just what it is. That's what we're dealing with.
Right.
In the modern era.
This is still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I'm trying to pull up the next story so that we can move on. We're still looking at the Punch newspaper. We have concerns as multi-billion equipment rots in Delta colleges. Fad, you wake up every day and think that, oh, there's nothing I can really read that can displace me. And then you just read some things and you're like, why? And then there's this report here, multi-billion-dollar equipment rot in Delta technical colleges. Now, there are multi-billion equipment in Delta technical colleges that are currently lying idle following underutilization of this equipment as a result of lack of teachers. South Punch gathered that most of the equipment in those colleges are lying idle and in various stages of deterioration. The Modern Technical College Asaba, with state-of-the-art facilities, was inaugurated in January of 2023 before the former governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, left office. Findings revealed that the equipment are not being utilized due to the absence of teachers and instructors. Hence, parents are threatening to move their children away. A parent who spoke to correspondent on the condition of anonymity said he registered his child for the purpose of acquiring technical skills, but it appears that the aim has been defeated. The parent says, and I quote, "It's no longer a technical college. It's conventional. I've registered my child here to enable him get the technical knowledge. So after school, he can focus on one aspect in case I cannot afford tertiary institution. But it appears that the purpose have been defeated because as I speak to you, they don't even have teachers in those technical subjects. It is only the conventional subject that they're still teaching them. There's no practical. They have enough equipment line fallout," the source says. So it's ridiculous, right? First, it was lack of infrastructure in terms of building, in terms of laboratory, up-to-date devices, equipment in certain parts. And then here, in a technical school where they have state-of-the-art facilities, there are no teachers, there are no instructions to teach the children how to use this equipment. What is going on with the education sector, Fuad? Is this also linked to the massive brain drain that we have been seeing, the lack of personnel across sectors, and now we have students in a technical school still doing theoretical explanation?
Well, before we talk about brain drain, I think it starts with the lack of commitment to doing anything right and doing it properly. You understand what I'm saying? Because yes, we talk about brain drain. Before the drainage came, there was the problem of lack of commitment really to get some of these things done properly. You know, the structure of our education in Nigeria has created room for people to pick up technical education. We don't expect that all students, we expected that not all students
go to
the end of the university. You understand? That's why you have the 6-3-3-4 system. So the assumption is that, look, 6 years primary school, 3 years junior secondary school. After junior secondary school, you can decide to now proceed to a technical college. So at that point, you know, you don't need to go to the senior secondary school. From GS3, you proceed to these technical colleges for technical knowledge. So you get into different kinds of technical trades and what have you. For those who are thinking of going into the university, then you can proceed to the senior secondary school and attend to the university. But we have a lot of technical colleges. So I think in Lagos here we have about 2 or even more than 2. But can we really say that there's serious commitment to getting the best out of our students when it comes to technical knowledge? We need to ask ourselves. Unfortunately, as a developing nation, more than any other thing, we are supposed to be very hungry for technical development, technical knowledge. Like it's always said, no country in the world, say, will transfer technology to any other country.
You steal it.
You have to build it. You have to steal it. Getting the best of tutors, to train your own people to develop your own homegrown technology. So it's just what it is. Unfortunately, you have a school that has gotten very good equipment, but there are no instructors, there are no teachers to teach the students. So it's again lack of commitment to doing some of these things. It's just lack of commitment. There's nothing more,
Well, at the time we were talking about the employability of a lot of these students that come out of schools, can you really blame them if they're not being taught what they want to learn? Not that they're not being taught, but they're not being taught what they actually went into school to do. And you notice even a lot of people who come out of universities usually need to get extra training for practical, because universities can be quite theoretical if you're being honest. It's just the writing and the taking notes. But technical colleges would actually make you hands-on. You would handle the equipment, you would touch it, you know how to use it. That's why you see somebody that has a master's in mechanical engineering cannot figure out what's going on with his car.
The thing about education is this. The fact that you have a master's in engineering does not necessarily mean that you should be able to fix a vehicle or what have you. You might be in charge of design, if you understand what I'm saying, the designing of the models and all of that. But the technical guys are now supposed to be at the middle level of the labor force. They fix these things. They are the ones who can act as masons, tilers, the technical guys who are fixing these equipment and what have you. At the university level, for example, you might just be in charge of design and supervision, if you understand what I'm saying. You have an architect, for example, who has designed the building, is in charge of, okay, this is how it should be. The structural engineer is ensuring that the right things are done. But where are the bricklayers? Where are the plumbers? You understand? Where are the tilers? It doesn't have to be people from Cotonou now. You can have people who go to school to learn these things, and because they are educated, they should be able to also apply their education to make it better, get a bit more creative about it. But again, where is the commitment to doing these things?
Well, I guess we'll see what happens now that it has been brought to the notice. We might need to take a teeny weeny break so that we can come back and figure out what's going on here, so that we don't have any interruptions at the end of the day. I'm trying to see if I can very hurriedly fix okay. We don't need to go on the break. I've been able to sort it out. Okay. We have Lagos APC Labour Party in turmoil as PDP eyes local government poll upset.
There can't be any upset, and there won't be any upset. I don't know where the report is coming from, but there can be, and there won't be.
Political atmosphere in Lagos is getting more competitive as the local government election is fast approaching. In this report, Gbenga Ololoniran details the internal divisions within different political parties fielding candidates for the poll. Notable and battled parties in the ruling All Progressive Congress and in the Labour Party. There are some internal divisions. The state chapter of the APC has been embroiled in crisis as aggrieved members continue to protest the primaries conducted by the party on May 10, 2025 at its Lagos headquarters, despite the leadership of the party maintaining that it held a successful primary to produce candidates for the 20 local government areas and the 37 local council development areas. So members faulted the consensus process adopted by the party to pick candidates. Meanwhile, some candidates also emerged through indirect voting, and it highlighted that Agege APC members remain divided. I think they had mentioned that the son of the Ogbontarigi of Lagos State had been
but it's not device. He's now been, I think he's now been listed as a running mate.
Right. I know. I just wanted to mention that
the candidates of the party.
When the crisis started, because that also, a lot of tongues were wagging when that information was put out there. And we had some of those who actually wanted to run saying, I'll just willingly concede because I might be opened up to other opportunities in future. This is a person who helped me in politics, so I'm just going to step down, amongst other things. So it turns out that there are a lot of aggrieved party members because of the forced consensus, so to speak. They wanted to run, but now they're being made to step aside from the race and concede their desire to properly contest for this local government during the local government election. You've always said it, for that regardless of what goes on within the APC, there's a central power that can whip everybody back in line. Do you think that this might be the time to activate that protocol, seeing as there are a lot of aggrieved party members who are not okay with the consensus that was used for the primaries?
I think that because it has not gotten to that, so they are still keeping the whip.
Okay.
They will still whip everybody. The whip day. And trust me, I know what I'm saying.
Okay. How do
if
you
it
know?
gets to the point where they have to bring the Koboko out to whip all of them, say, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you people? You don't say. Everybody, because I don't think it has gotten to the point where the Koboko should be brought out to discipline everybody to get them to behave properly. If you understand what I'm saying. Yes. And for the report saying that
APD... I don't know that. I
say I know. You want to take a bet?
Why?
You can really take a bet.
I'm just saying.
Have you not seen which PDP?
That they are lizard
the PDP of Lagos.
I know they are going
through a
lot.
PDP in Lagos?
Wow. I know that they are going through a lot too. Even the Labour Party is going through a lot too, that they are submitting multiple candidates.
If a Labour Party is even more interested in Lagos than PDP now, I can tell you that it's all fact.
Okay.
That even Labour Party has a better standing in Lagos than the PDP. Who is left in the PDP? Their governorship candidates in the last election, where is he now? Who are the people left in the PDP? Chief for the judge? Or who? Mention one person that you know that will now create this offset last year. And then there will now be a PDP offset in Lagos.
So you're saying that regardless of this perceived crisis, it still is not going to be an avenue for the PDP to take the lead, regardless?
Look, whoever eventually emerges as candidate of the APC in Lagos, whether for councillorship or for chairmanship, once that list is eventually, I told you there will be multiple lists, but eventually there will be a final one that will now be finally ratified. Whoever makes that list is already a winner. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
The APC list too. I'm not talking of another list too. Okay. I know that the battle is still. I told you that one of my younger brothers, that was announced as a councillorship candidate of the APC somewhere in Lagos. And so I said, congratulations, Abu. Still be praying for me. They might still remove my name from the list. I said, people have done power. Don't be like that too. They should change the list too. So that's why I'm saying that when eventually the list is finally ratified and you are able to make that list, it is over. It is just ceremonial. It is just to fulfill righteousness, the election. Didn't you see the way they conducted the election of local government in Ogun State? On that same day, the governor was in another state. And the APC took everything in Ogun State. You see another party there. And the same with the other states, so let us waste time on. The battle is within the APC. Yes, this whole squabbles, back and forth, but it will eventually end. If they don't behave themselves, the big master will bring out the Koboko and whip all of them in line, and everybody goes on with their life.
That's all you said. Anyways, we have less than 10 minutes to leave the studio. Let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Most of the stories have been addressed, actually. So let's talk about the few that we haven't spoken about. Enugu governor proposes bill to regulate spiritual practices, curb ritual crimes, others. Enugu State Governor Peter Omba has forwarded an executive bill to the Enugu State House of Assembly to curb criminal activities among native doctors, herbalists, and similar practitioners in the state. The proposed legislation, Maintenance of Internal Security security, vigilance and order, prohibits money rituals known as okite and bulletproof charms, commonly called odeshi. It also criminalizes the illegal use on occupation of forest and properties for unlawful engages in the practice or renders of spiritual service within the state, whether as a native doctor, a herbalist, a spiritualist, a chief priest, diviner, seer, or any other traditional and spiritual title or designation, shall be registered with the ministry, department, or agency of the state as may be designated by the governor for that purpose. And if you don't register, you would pay a fine ranging from 1 million to 5 million or 2 years imprisonment or both. The report actually tells us the different provisions of this particular bill that has been forwarded by the governor. And I believe this is on the heels of the notorious ritualist, well, alleged ritualist in Enugu State, the one who tried to escape, but luckily we had somebody at the border who had the fear of God and refused to take bribe and prevented the man from escaping. And he has been arrested. I believe he's going to be tried and an investigation will be carried out. It turns out that a lot of these spiritual leaders are now misleading people. They tell them, I'll do something for you such that when you're shot, the bullets will not pierce, giving people unnecessary audacity to step in the face of crime, in the face of violence, rather. And you see people to want to get rich, go and bring the head of someone, go and bring the leg of someone. And we've been seeing senseless murders. Even in Ogun State, there was a time that for months they kept reporting kidnapping, bodies found under people's bed. And when questioned, somebody told me to go and bring the head of somebody so that I would make a lot of money. The governor have had enough and he's trying to put it in the provisions. If you do such, you will go to prison. Fuad.
Well, again, I think there's something similar already going on in Anambra State.
Yeah.
By Charles Soludo, the governor, Professor Soludo, I think comes into focus now. But what I think the major focus, even though it talks about any spiritual activity, all spiritual activities in the state, but I think it's all about religious practices or spiritual practices within the state. And I think the focus is more on people who call themselves traditionally herbalists, who do most of these things. Because I think what, for example, in Anambra, this governor is saying, and now in Enugu, that a lot of the crimes that you see in most of these states are linked, an argument that we can continue to have. There's nothing traditional about paganism, if you understand what I'm saying. The culture and tradition of the people is not necessarily about their religion. That's one argument that can never end, but I won't go too deep into that. If you talk about culture and tradition and paganism, there are two different things entirely, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what we've seen consistently, and I think that's what the governor is looking at, is that a lot of these crimes are now linked to most of these guys who call themselves herbalists, who call themselves traditional worshippers. And now what he's saying is that, look, you're going to do anything like that, you need to come and register with the state. And I think it's going to also extend it to maybe the Muslims and Christians too. You have a church, let us know this is a church. Let us know you the owner of the forest. For activities like this. He wants to know what's going on in the state. I think this is a good one by the governor because, again, look at the ritual killings, for example, that we've been reporting. Whether you like it or not, these things are tied to how some of these practices are done.
Right.
Because somebody must have told someone to go and bring the head of somebody for money ritual.
It's ridiculous.
So I think we've gotten to the point where we may now begin to regulate some of this.
Indeed.
I think
And it's not peculiar to Nigeria. Fuad, you and I analyzed one time during Global View, what country was it where the religious leader had asked all of them to go to the forest and not eat?
Kenya.
So that, yes.
Kenya.
And then
Kenya,
it became a conversation when the husband of one of the women who was pregnant at the time, when she left, he was talking about, like, you have my wife. Turns out she had that baby there in the forest. She starved that baby too. Because the religious leader had told
them to starve to death.
So she had that baby there in the forest, Fuad, had that baby there in the forest and starved that baby. She didn't breastfeed the child while she also was not eating, and they both died.
And she starved herself to death too.
Imagine how devastating that might have been. His wife died, and then his newborn also died because the mother starved the child based on the instructions of a religious leader who was very much outside in the world eating food, but asking people to go to the forest to go and stab themselves to death.
Told them to do that.
The brainwashing is very scary for us. So I do agree with the governor on this one.
It's pure hypnosis. Hypnotize these guys, and it's just unfortunate again because religion has become the opium of the masses here in Africa. So people believe they are religious leaders. They can tell them not to eat and they will not eat. In fact, most marriages now are challenged because a religious leader is directing the woman against the husband.
I think my Adisa had a conversation around that like a few days ago. Yes. Let's look at this final story for.
You go leave my house, go meet the religious leader or that one.
Let's talk about this. Trump banned citizens of 12 countries from entering the U.S. You don't know how happy I am that Nigeria is not in their among. Although I get it, there's systemic racism would always be a thing.
You want to go to the U.S.? Why?
I never said I wanted to.
And so are you happy that I did?
It's not. Why did not concern you? Let everybody be minding their business. I'm just glad that Nigeria is not there, right? So some of the countries, Afghanistan, Myanmar. I wonder why Myanmar. Myanmar is a very peaceful place. People go there to have fun. Really, it's like a destination that everybody goes to. So why Myanmar? I don't know. Chad. I can understand Afghanistan, right? But Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea. Why? Haiti.
No, I think Haiti, I understand that there's a gang problem in Haiti.
I guess
DR Congo, I know there's also a problem in DR Congo.
I get Congo for it. There are just some countries that I think he's exaggerating. There will always be violence in some place, but it's not to the point where you have to ban them from entering a country. Afghanistan,
everybody from coming to the US.
I get Congo. I totally get the whole Congo conversation.
But not the entire country, because I think the major problem in Congo now has to do with the crisis with the M23.
Yes.
Which also includes Rwanda.
Right.
As a problem in that region.
They have an arrangement with Rwanda, remember? A migration arrangement with Rwanda they were trying to complete so that people who are seeking an asylum in the US can go to Rwanda. I don't know if they've been able to finish that. So of course they won't put Rwanda on the list. Nonsense. That they are doing. So we have Equatorial Guinea, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Also, people from Sierra Leone, Cuba, Burundi, Venezuela. They'll be partially, even Togo, they'll be partially prevented from.
Togo shocked me too.
I mean,
Togo.
Why?
Why Togo? Although they talked about the fact that some of these countries, not necessarily because the people from the country is a threat to the US, but that they failed in sharing security reports or something, intelligence with the US. So. Some of these things are not completely in the open. Some of them, these decisions are taken, and you probably have to dig deeper to know why Togo will be on the list, for example.
Trump said that these countries are subject to severe restrictions because they are determined to harbor a large-scale presence of terrorists. Togo.
Really? And I'm surprised that on the list, you have not seen countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger.
I don't understand Trump. Maybe if you do, perhaps. Or Barrister Kosi should help us explain what's going on with his friend.
Because there are some countries, and if you even talk about countries that should be on the list, if it's about threat, insurgency, and extreme thinking, why not Saudi Arabia, for example?
Saudi Arabia, are they not? The Saudi not? Was it they plane or a jet? I mean, what did they even give?
No, that was Qatar. People have also talked about Qatar.
Okay, Qatar.
But because again, a lot of it, for example, if you look at a lot of the attacks that have happened in the name of extremism, a lot of them have been Saudi nationals. The old guys of the 9/11 were people from Saudi Arabia. The Laden is from Saudi Arabia. But because America is an ally, they have a good relationship. So again, Trump is a man that they may never understand. He has his own way. But thank God that Nigeria is not on this.
Thank God Nigeria. Why are you excited about it too?
I'm happy for you, for people like you.
Let's move on. We actually are due for a break. Let's take a break. And just to read this headline, Bill Gates is saying that Nigeria's health budget is too low to address challenges. Maybe if a Caucasian man tells them, they will finally listen to us, that the health budget is not enough to do anything. But that's the report that we have for trends.
Yeah, I said it on the day. It's one thing to hear. It's another thing to really pay attention to what
it is very.
They can just hear for hearing sake.
Let's take that break. Fuad will be back in another 10 minutes for Mainland Focus. It's Open Mic Thursday, so be ready to tell us your thoughts on some of the stories that we have rolled out this morning. I'm Sage Babalola. Please don't go anywhere.